It's extraordinary.
So, well, you know that birds have accents, don't you?
I
Talking of
didn't
birds,
know. I didn't know birds had
They
accents.
do. That's how they delineate their territory.
Accents. Oh, yes. Oh,
So,
fascinating. Now, you've talked a lot about Sheila Florence and how generous she was to you, and sadly we've lost Sheila. Are there any other actors in the show that you sort of still keep company with or run into or see a lot?
well, yes, there are. Well, I've just recently caught up with Amanda Muggleton again.
Miranda Mugglesworth, yes, one of my favourites.
Snugglepot. And then, of course, she was so exceptionally influential in my acting career as well.
Well,
as
good
was-
influence to have. What a wonderful actress.
As your good self, as Judith McGrath. That's what I mean. It was absolutely wonderful. And with Wayne Jarrett, I miss him.
Oh, that's tragic, yes.
Well, we used to go surfing with each other. He used to come down to our place in Torquay, and he had just got into sailboarding, and I was still surfing. In fact, Prisoner was one of the best times in my life because I'd often get my schedule that I would have enough time to go for an early morning surf, usually with, do you remember Tot Goldsmith?
Oh, Totty, yes,
Okay,
I do.
so I would be surfing with her brother Brett out at Jan Jock, and then I'd drive up to the Channel 10 studio. So I was doing the most important things in my life, the things that I was most passionate about. So when you say, do I
That's a
see?
good time,
Yeah, it was gorgeous. And the best thing is that, as you know, that emotional truth, immediacy that you have with someone when you're acting, the beauty is that you can see somebody 20 years down the track.
Oh,
and
when you just pick up where you left off. That's right, I know. Yeah.
I adore that intimacy. So, who else did I see recently? Sigrid Thornton. We're both coming out of having watched that wonderful movie, The Queen.
I haven't seen it yet.
Val.
Yes, I'm dying to see it. I will.
Yes, superb. So, and then...
Another fabulous actress, Helen Mirren. Oh.
Absolutely. And who else do I see? Well, so I've seen...
Betty Bobbitt, do you ever run into her?
Well, occasionally. And then... Who else did, in fact? I spoke to her last week. Well, I actually saw Patsy at... we were coming out of the foyer of a theatre in a show that Amanda was doing a two-hander in that Bruce Miles, another famous MTC actor, had directed. So it's always that, Penelope Stewart, well...
Yes, oh gosh.
So she was in Prisoner.
Are you doing any acting?
Well, the last thing I did was something for, the equivalent of the BBC. And I've been doing quite a few voiceovers.
Oh, that's good.
Yes, I love that. And
Don't have to look your best for a voiceover.
Oh, yes, and we did in Prisoner, didn't we?
It was gorgeous. What are you talking about?
Well, they would have saved a lot of time and money on production with makeup.
And those couturier gowns.
So I speak to Penelope Stewart. She's at the MTC on a daily basis. And
she was at the RSC at one stage, wasn't she?
No.
Was that that's Penny...
Downey.
Penny Downey, that's right.
Yes. So, well, I mean, I knock into you occasionally, so to speak.
Yes. We run into each other every now and then.
So who else do you see? I mean, I do see, Patsy's a server at the local church up the road,
yes.
along with Anne Pendlebury, who was also at the MTC.
Yes. And Scott Pendlebury.
Yes, and I speak with Fiona Spence.
Yes,
yes. Every time I go to Sydney.
Haven't seen Fiona and Denise for a long, long time, actually.
Oh, well, you're
When I
both
go to
keen
Sydney-
gardeners. You should be.
Yes, indeed. When I go to Sydney, I quite often see Carol Skinner.
Oh, we love Skinner.
Yeah, and I saw Carol Burns recently quite a bit up in Queensland. Which
With
was
that
nice.
show you were directing.
Yes. And I occasionally see Maggie Kirkpatrick in Sydney as well.
Oh, what about Kirsty Child, of
I haven't
course?
seen Kirsty for a long time.
Kirsty's
actually.
on tour.
Great friend, of course, of Carol's.
That's
Is she
right.
on tour? What's she doing?
Yes, I'm not sure, but she's it.
I put you on the
I'm
spot
not.
now, haven't I?
Yes. Under Milkwood.
Oh, really? With a Welsh accent?
I'd say so.
I would think so, yes. I'm about to do Inheritance, one of Hanny Rayson's plays,
you lucky thing.
which is on the Year 12 literary syllabus, so that's going to be very interesting.
I did see the first production
Did you?
of
Well,
that.
I'm playing
It's-
dibs.
Oh, you lucky.
Not that lucky. Very
Well,
nice.
You'll be busy.
No, very busy, yes, a big part.
Yeah, so I do not, I miss not acting on a regular basis, and I love that camaraderie, and especially when you get a good script.
Yes, which is not as frequent as it ought to be.
Maybe.
That happens to us.
We're not training our script writers.
I think you're absolutely right.
So
Well, thank you very much for listening, and thank you for coming along.
and thank you, everyone, and I hope that this has been of use to you and has provided, lots of interest into one of the best Australian productions ever made in Australian theatre television.
Yes, I agree with you, absolutely. I'm very proud of Prisoner.
Yes, and thank you, Val. Lovely to see you.
You too.
When morning comes around, last night I dreamed we were together, sharing